welcome. Thank you for your time tonight. Okay, so tonight we're doing uh, a couple of things. We're going through two course units of competency in the well-being area, which is very exciting. I'm going to just try and share my screen here. So, okay, so here. Okay, can you see my shared screen?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Okay, so this course is the first lesson in a three-part course. We're going to be doing two of those today. The unit of competency is BSB PEF 201. It's support well-being in the workplace. Couple of things before we start. If you need a toilet break, just excuse yourself, put your hand up, and do what you need to do. As I've said before, work safe is very important to us. So just keep an eye on that. Remember that we all learn differently, and some need more time, space, and understanding than others. Be open and open to helping each other, and especially to listening to each other. If you can turn your phones to silent, that'd be great too. If there's something that you need to go and get a call, by all means do it. Just excuse yourself again. Okay, so what is workplace well-being? So there's a few things here um, about workplace well-being. Um, Mainly, it's the idea that we all have a need to feel needed and wanted and part of a group. It's about being physically and mentally healthy and also socially healthy as well. So, tell me about your what well-being is to you, Anisha.
Probably feeling like respected by other people. Workplace well-being, yeah, being respected by other people, like enjoying coming to work and
Excellent.
everything like that.
Yeah. Okay. Bettina.
Um, I think it's about feeling valued as a member of a team and knowing that you you can voice your opinions without judgment.
Excellent. Tess, how about yourself?
I would say being supported at work, and yes, working in somewhere that's like positive and inclusive and everything like that.
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Um, what factors do you think contribute to well-being? Anyone like to come in?
I don't mind starting.
Yeah.
Um, I think having a supportive manager is massive. Um, because if you don't feel the support from them, you're not going to have the confidence or the to approach them with any concerns. Um, I also think having something at work, um, like an emotional resource, whether that's a colleague that you trust or it could be organisations that have EAP arrangements in place so that there's a confidential space that you can visit if you need to offload. So just knowing that there's emotional support outside of, the work-related stuff.
Excellent. That's really good. Anyone else?
I'd probably say just your enjoyment of going to work in general. If we're talking about work specifically, whether you're happy with what you're doing, whether you see growth for yourself, and whether you're supported with that.
Yeah. Excellent. Tess, do you want to chime in?
I would say probably the most important thing for me would be having a good work-life balance. So,
Great
work
point.
job that I enjoy doing, working with people that I like, and also having the, also prioritizing my social life and time for myself.
Okay. Have we ever, any of us, had any times where we've worked for someone and it's been you've looked back on the time, or you're in the time and you see that it's not, you don't feel that well-being, you don't feel that any of the things you've discussed now about the stress is high, you're trudging yourself to work, you don't have time for anything else because it's consuming you. Has anyone been in that position?
Yep.
Tell me about it, Bettina.
I can recall one past role that I had. There are a lot of factors involved, but I think it was during COVID time.
That's okay.
Sorry, my dog is barking.
That's okay. We can deal with that.
I'll take over, Mum.
Sorry?
I'll take over.
Okay.
Sorry. I would say with my most recent job as well, it's the same type of thing. Just not feeling supported or anything like that. In what I do or how much I put in and get back essentially.
Okay. So do you feel like you're not getting what you're putting into it? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's not I put so much time and energy and then don't get any sort of recognition back, which then really affects everything else in your life, your social life, your being how much energy you have, how much time you have for yourself and your people who amount to all of it kind of thing.
Yeah. And I guess you start seeing things that may or may not be there that add to it. So it's like this avalanche of feelings that might be inadequacy, might be all these other things, which in most cases, what you do in your job is correct and perfect and all that. But these things affect all those little things that put your life in a sequence and make it worthwhile in the sense of work. And like Tess was talking about with the balance, it's really important to find that balance, and one work issue can actually, or one working for someone that is makes it difficult for you, can sometimes bring everything else down with it. Tess, did you have any experience in a workplace like that?
At my not my current job, but my most recent job, I had a good experience, and I do think that I was supported in some aspects, but I also think that I was just me personally. I feel like I started to overstay my welcome, which made me become less and less.
Yeah.
I just enjoyed it less and less. But then also, there were some aspects where I just think it became a very competitive environment, which it didn't used to be, for a job that did not need to be competitive and more so should have just been a supportive kind of help each other out And yeah, so when you had to work on weekends, when you didn't even like being there Monday to Friday,
hard, really hard. Yeah. Okay.
I can.
Yeah, go on. You're on mute, Eddie.
You're on mute, Mum.
Oh, sorry. I resonate there a bit with Tess. Sorry, I had to pause before. But yeah, I think the role that was challenging for me was during the height of COVID. And we were making machines that tested for COVID. So the demand went absolutely through the roof. So things happened really quickly, like staff got put on, we got split into two teams, like morning and night shift. We were working 6 days a week. There was no work-life balance. On top of that, because things happened so quickly, it's almost like the managers couldn't deal with it either. So it was just a complete shit show, if I'm honest. And it was like every week just got harder and harder, and 6 days a week and long hours and traveling back and forth. I reckon I experienced a form of burnout, and my mental health took a dive, and I literally just thought, if I don't stop, something's going to happen. And I literally had a scary physical episode on the freeway one morning going to work, and it was like, I have to get off. I have to stop. Otherwise, this will be bad. So I did. And then I actually didn't work for nearly 3 years. So, yeah, there was a lot of aspects in that, it's sort of hard to untangle.
I think sometimes the definition of work gets so skewed that, it's like you are the saying, you are what you eat. You become what what your job is. And that is a downward spiral for most people. I mean, I can relate to what all of you have said in roles that I've had, that you've put in so much work, and the expectation is that you get something back. But sometimes that's really not the case. But these factors, obviously, we're discussing this whole page here really in the sense that all these feelings that you have and all of that affects your well-being. So it's something where the only way to truly engage with this is to actually perceive your place and be aware of where you're at in your head and where you're at with the rest of your life. So does anyone gauge daily their feelings, or rate themselves? Wake up and you go, I feel like a 3 out of 10. I notice in your pre-work, Bettina, you've got an illness or in a bit of pain.
Yes, that's right. I suffer from lower back pain, which most mornings affects me. It's almost like I'm, if I can describe it, I'm like Tin Man. I need to be oiled before I can function. So when I get up,
I'm something thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I feel the same way.
I'm like, honestly, it's like being Tin Man. I wake up and it's like I've got body stiffness everywhere. And I wake up and I take a few steps and it's excruciating. And then the more I sort of walk and stuff, I do loosen up, but what it does is it makes me wake up in a bad headspace. I'm not
say to you,
not bounding out of bed. I'm not, it affects me when I wake, like my whole body's stiff and I actually have to like almost limber up in bed, do a few exercises before I can even get up. And sometimes that's really, really wearing.
Tell me about how that pain affects your. I was just talking about this gauging where you're at every day in between 1 and 10, how does that affect how you're feeling and how you are actually step into your day? Obviously, physically step in is difficult
Yeah.
at the moment, but more metaphorically speaking, when you step into your day, how does that pain change your perception of everything happening around you?
Yeah, I'm irritable, you know. I wake up irritable. I
Yeah,
just, and it's not that I don't look forward to going to work, because I do enjoy my current role, but it affects it
yeah.
insofar that it's like I'm dealing with something physical that can affect the mental as
Yeah.
well, you know. So
Tess, tell me about yourself. Have you felt this thing about this out of 10 thing where you go, something changes the way you feel about your day?
Well, right now I'm in like hardcore kind of like therapy boot camp for
Okay,
3 months. So I didn't before this, but now doing this like program, which has been really good. I have to like record how I'm feeling every morning,
excellent,
how
excellent.
I feel throughout the day, how I feel going to bed, which I will probably continue doing once I finish this. But yeah, like before I started that program, I didn't do it at all. But now it's nice to have something and someone to kind of hold me accountable, just to see what days I feel really good, what days I don't feel good, and kind of fit that all together as to like trying to figure out the pattern of the days where I don't feel good and the days I do.
Excellent. There's a program called Seeds, and it's essentially that same thing, but it's all those things you need to do. If you've ever had been on a diet, or you've had a regime that you need to stick to, and so, often, speaking for myself, there's 100 things I need to do. I need to take tablets. I need to take vitamins. I need to make sure my water's right, that I have enough vegetables, that I have enough fiber, that I have enough all this stuff, and it becomes this full page list of things to try and get done. And what typically happens as humans is we start off with doing it all for 2 days, and then we go, oh shit, I've forgotten to have water, or and it's just so much, because again, this stuff, this life balance comes into it, and we can't keep up with all the things we need to do. Okay, so we've spoken a lot about this, but the clinical definition of well-being is a holistic state in which employees feel physically, mentally, and socially engaged and supported, which is what we've all discussed. Reflects a balance between positive experiences, um, job satisfaction, recognition, and the absence of management of negative experiences. So it's this balance that Tess was talking about. In the context to occupational health and safety as an employer is very important to ensure that there's not the work in all the workplaces that you've discussed today. This is not happening in the sense of the psychological hazards that cause the stress and the feelings and negative feelings at work is all part of the management of that business, and it's part of the WHS. People that actually feel this way don't feel the well-being in themselves in their workplace. They're the ones that have accidents at the workplace too. So it's really, really important for them to focus on that. We've
it's
covered.
interesting. Oh,
Go on.
sorry.
No, go on.
It's interesting, Rob, because that last slide talked about psychosocial hazards, and we actually just had training on those, in terms of, you know, now now the laws, the laws changing where employers have to recognise, so, they have to address psychosocial hazards for the first time. Like that's become law now, hasn't it? Just
It has.
recently, I think.
It
Yeah,
has.
so
Yeah.
that was
It's
really
been there all the
interesting.
time, but it has become
Yeah.
and it's been focused on recently. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's interesting.
Okay, well,
Sorry.
we've basically gone across all this, talking about workload over, too much work and the KPIs are too high, tight deadlines, conflicts with colleagues, lack of support, job insecurity, poor balance, as Tess was saying, pressure at home and externally. All those are factors.
Can I add one to that?
Yeah.
And this came up when we did the training, and I think it's really important. And in my current role, I do face this a little bit. Lack of role clarity. That's a
Yeah.
really important one.
So this is
Because
sometimes a sliding scale, isn't it? You start off, here's your job description,
mm,
and then you start sliding across, and
yeah,
you're doing jobs that really aren't in your scope of work.
yeah, yeah,
Where you do it once, and there's a after hours thing on, and you go and do it, and then the next time it's on, you have to do it again. And
yeah. And sometimes people have trouble pushing back. I
yeah,
know I have at times. So you end up doing that thing, and you know that it's not in your scope of practice, or somebody's just expected it.
yeah,
And then the next thing, it becomes a full-on expectation of you, like that
yes,
you've said yes once, so okay, you'll be now doing that from now on. And sometimes that can even be unspoken, it's not even clear. So you're thinking, okay, does that mean I'm doing that next time, or was it
yeah.
just this one time? So
And
that
also
lack of role clarity.
and they go, "What, you did it last time? Why can't you do it now?"
Like, yeah, what's the
Yeah,
big deal?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
All right. So part of this also, and it feeds into what you're saying, Bettina, is resilience. And resilience is something where I said, well, the definition, resilience is the capacity to recover from setbacks, adapt to change, and keep going in the face of adversity. Um, so in this life, with the way digital things are, we're all being bombarded with lots of stuff, and this all detracts from our own resilience. And obviously, resilience is something which is built from childhood. And if you don't have a good framework for resilience as a child, which is about having boundaries and making boundaries and all of that, then it's difficult the older you get. And there's people in my family that have had no boundaries and and they're young adults now and they don't have any resilience. So they have a setback and it's the end of the world. So it's really important to understand, and this is what we're all leading to, including what we've done at the pre-work that we've done. Self-awareness, mindfulness, keeping coping skills, maintaining a positive outlook, and that's not easy these days. It's not easy to always be positive. And I noticed in some of the pre-work that some of you have done, which is that it's talking to this about it's really difficult to keep positive when there's lots going on around you. And so the plasticity of the brain, I don't know if you've heard of the term the neuroplasticity. It's essentially how the brain is created and how it reforms. So we have a gazillion, I don't know how many, but a lot of brain cells, which as we get older, they dissipate. We lose some. And sometimes the things we do also makes them disappear a bit. But no matter how many you've got, there's always this thing where your brain can adapt and change, and it can formulate new ways of thinking, and it can formulate pathways that help you in regards to resilience. Okay, so you've all done that the coursework at home. So essentially, this is about obviously the video, which I found really quite fascinating. I had a whole lot to look at, and I chose that one because she spoke very well about bringing a whole lot of stuff together and finding something out that didn't equate to what she was looking for in the first place. So essentially, the definition of self-awareness is the ability to recognize and understand your own internal states. Now, that's called interoception. Interoception, if you think about your body, interoception is everything from the skin in. So the brain takes a lot of computing, and what happens with self-awareness is we can change our focus. So, and it's like if you've ever had an old style volume control where there's different treble and all this, it's where all of them go up at once in a certain area. So, to give you a good example, well, Bettina's got a great example with her back. So when she's in pain, um, she doesn't feel, or she may not feel much more than the pain, even though she's got the cat sitting on her leg, and she can feel the cat's fur on her skin. She's got cold air blowing from outside on her face. All of those things are, so if you think about, there's lists and lists that your body's picking up every single thing. The air you're breathing is a little bit warmer. You can hear, even hearing's a really good one. You can, like now I can hear when I'm not talking, I can hear distant cars, I can hear the birds. So what it's about is trying to find a place where you can lower all the noise that your brain's got down and be in a position where you can actually just focus on where you want your body to be. And so introspection, similarly, is the deliberate examination and reflection of your own internal experiences. So it involves observing, labeling, and analyzing your thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations. This is a really important one because with the idea of feelings, particularly, um, even the idea of thinking, no, I feel upset today. I feel angry today. Actually putting a name to the feelings actually helps your mind compute how to deal with it. So it'll start working on how to work through it. So this is where this daily ritual that Tess was talking about is really powerful, because what it means is you can actually name your feelings, deal with them like they're real. When you talk about them, when you actually tell yourself they're real. So it's about changing perspective from I'm not going to think about that now, upsets me, to going, I feel upset because XYZ. And so it sort of changes things in your head. Tell me about some of this stuff that you've done on the pre-work. Um, how did you, the idea was for you to watch the video and see what it brought up. And the funny thing about it is that you're listening to it and you feel things and think things that have got nothing to do with the sessions. So, Anisha, tell me about what you felt and some of the stuff you gleaned out of the video and out of the other parts of the pre-work.
I feel like after watching the video, it like made me question like probably some things about myself that I do that I probably wouldn't think I do. So like when I think she mentioned something about you sort of like create scenarios in your head, like or you see things that sort of aren't there. And I feel like if I'm angry or upset, I'll like sort of turn to, oh, like, well, everyone's against me, or like, you know, everyone did this on purpose, or like something like,
Yeah.
you know, finding out like scenarios that might not just be true, just to make myself feel better. Really, I feel like that's something I do. So like it was good to sort of identify it.
Yeah.
And then yeah, more just another question was like, do I take things too personally? Like maybe I just take it too personally when it's really not that deep, but like it's easier to take it personally and put the blame on someone else than rather like self-reflect that it might be my problem. Maybe I didn't do
Yeah.
something
A
the way
really good part, a really good thing with that is I've got a friend who I took to the gym once, and they were very focused on all the other people watching them. But realistically, when you look at it, they don't care. They're not interested. And this is where we have this really difficult position of saying, well, um, I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to, I don't want to feel like I'm a fool. These people are gonna judge me. And what we should be saying is, well, I don't care because this is me, but none of us can do it. Well, very few of us can do that. It has to be a highly evolved being to be able to go, I don't actually care what you think, and deliver it without a punch in the face, sort of thing. Bettina, what about yourself?
Yeah, I found myself. I sort of thought some random thoughts throughout it that it was weird. It was a mixture of thoughts that related to the video and what I was hearing, and then other things that were happening that just jumped into my head randomly, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But one thing that stuck out for me was kind of the realization, like, which was her overall message, that when we're self reflecting, we need to ask what instead of why. And
Yeah.
I thought, yeah, my historical way of thinking has I've gotten better, but I know in the past and even still sometimes now, my self-reflecting has often been negative. So I would sort of go, oh, why is this happening?
Why has it
Why am
happened
I
to
in so
me?
much pain?
Yeah, yeah.
Why are they such an
What have I
asshole?
done to
Like
deserve this? Yeah.
instead of, framing it differently. So being stuck on that, that feeling it at the moment rather than what can I do? Okay, I'm feeling, like you were saying before, I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling frustrated. What what can I do to move that forward? I'd sort of be going, oh, why what like the current one that I still do is, why am I in so much pain every morning? Which
Yeah.
is ridiculous because partly I know why. I
Yeah.
know that there's factors that have contributed to me being in pain,
Yeah.
some of which I can control and some of which I can't.
Yeah.
But I still, because I'm so irritable, I just go, oh, why,
Yeah.
why can't I just wake up one morning and not be in freaking pain,
Yeah.
basically,
Yeah.
and other mornings it's not so stark. So
Yeah.
that was a really good message from that talk. And I think that's what she was trying to say, is that a lot of us do that when we self-reflect. We say
Well,
why,
I
not
think
what.
I think the funny thing is the figures 95% of us think that we're self-aware, but I
Yeah,
think actually 10 to 15% actually are. I think that's
yeah,
really telling.
yeah, that was amazing.
Tess, tell me about yourself. What's your thoughts with the pre-work?
Well, I've definitely grown up in a household where we're all very self-aware. So I definitely know what it means to be self-aware, but also, I mean, being self-aware, I'm very, very aware that I'm definitely a glass half empty kind of perspective person.
Yeah.
So usually I associate kind of self-awareness with negativity, which I liked in the video was that it kind of showed the side where self-awareness can be positive, and it is important to kind of recognize the kind of like the good aspects of everything rather than just going like, I know that I get very angry very quickly, and I don't focus, and I'm not very good at school and all that's like, I'm very self-aware of that, but then I don't really take into account like the positive things I can bring, which is like, I'm very funny and I make time for people and all that stuff. So I think, yeah, definitely grown up in a household where we were always kind of checking ourselves, or someone was like kind of telling us when we were just doing things that is part of our personality and not trying to take like not trying to change it, like with me getting angry really quickly, but everyone around me just knew, that's how I operate, and we just need to leave space for that. Whereas like my siblings get, very emotional and they cry quickly. So all kind of giving each other that space and that time to just do what works for us.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so we've talked through this really in the sense that the thoughts, feelings and emotions and the physical reactions, they all play a really big part. And it's about finding that position where you can actually um, label your feelings and your emotions and deal with them in a way that your brain can understand, and recognizing how they affect you fostering the wellness that you need in whatever you're doing. Okay, so we don't have an evaluation for this one, but I just thought it's what have we learnt from this? How does it help support well-being in the workplace? Well, clearly what we've talked about, all four of us, is the idea that we need to be supported. We need to be in a place where, and I mean, some of us work for a lifetime to find a job where it all comes together. And typically in life, I always think, when your relationship, your personal relationship or your friends is going really well, the job's really bad. Or, and it goes like this, never is it all even. So it's about this juggling act where you're trying to keep everything balanced and everything, and keep yourself in a place where you're happy. The pursuit of happiness is what we're all about, all of us. And sometimes that's really a difficult place to find, but it's a journey, and this is the life we have to find that. And sometimes for some people, it just lands in their lap and they're wrapped with their lot in life. And the rest of us need to work really hard at making sure we're well, that we're healthy, that we're eating healthy, that we're making sure that we've got good people around us that care for us, and that we are working towards wellness. So I love this saying: we can only see the world as we are, not as it is, as the world is. I think that's really says it all, in the sense of, as humans, we go down a line of, sometimes the negative stuff's easier to deal with than the positive stuff. I mean, myself, if I get credit for something, I have trouble holding that sometimes, which is ridiculous, really, because it's an important part of everything that that you understand what you're good at, and that you acknowledge that you're good at it. Did anyone have any questions or Any reflections about what they've learnt? Anisha?
Just hearing like everyone else's perspective has been good. Like everyone sort of feels different ways. So that's how like you'd probably approach it in the workplace, not like catered to one specific person. Like there's people who learn differently and do things differently. And like you need to respect that because not everyone's just like a type A or type B.
Exactly. Yeah.
So hearing, yeah, everyone's experience be different is, I think, was good. And then just, yeah, it's really just about catering for everyone, I guess.
It is, yeah, being part of it. Bettina?
Yeah, I really enjoyed hearing everyone's perspectives tonight. I think that's really rich and shows how different we all are and how we perceive things. So yeah, I actually learnt from everyone else as well. Like I really like Tess. I really like what you were saying about the reflection stuff that you're doing, and it sounds like it's really useful. And I thought, yeah, it'd be great to start doing something like that. And I think I've often wanted to, but sometimes the challenge can be time. But in my current role, I am supposed to reflect as part of what I do in my job. So I think that's really helped me to start that process off, although that's probably self-reflection more in a work-related sense, but you could apply it to anything, I guess.
Absolutely.
The only question I had was, I found it interesting that as well as absorbing everything from that talk that I thought was really interesting, I wondered if anyone had, like I was talking before about random thoughts that popped in, like, and maybe that's an example of your external world, things that you're hearing or that are happening around you that can sort of distract you from the task at hand. Like I was actually, my phone pinged, right? And normally I don't reckon I'm that focused on it, but in the middle of the TED talk, my phone pinged and immediately I thought, oh God, what's that? What now sort of thing. And I felt compelled to check it, which is just ridiculous. I thought
this
I
is
could
actually
have ignored it.
This is actually what I was talking about with the lifting focus. So you're watching a screen and you're focusing on the screen and listening to it. So anything else, you train yourself to block everything else out.
Normally I can.
Yeah.
Normally I sort of.
But it's those little things that you go, oh.
Yeah.
Normally you go straight to it and read it, but yeah.
Yeah, and I did. I sort of picked it up and thought I'll just quickly check it, and then I was okay, and I went straight back to the TED talk because it was not. But it was interesting that I felt I had to check it, and that it was irritating to me when the ping went off, And then I also, sorry,
I do that with cat videos. I'm watching cat videos, and then I realise I've been watching cat videos for 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I also had a really random thought that had nothing to do with really, I was watching her talk in the TED talk, and I'm just laughing thinking about it now, and I thought a whole lot of thoughts really quickly, one after the other. Like that's what I was really aware of. So I actually thought, she looks really nice in that white dress. She's red dress. She's a very confident speaker. She seems really nice, but I don't know about those white shoes with the red dress. And I focused on that detail during the talk. It's just weird, Yeah. But then at the same time, I was listening to the content, but looking at the overall person and sort of just those random thoughts popping into my head. And it's funny, you wouldn't realise you'd done that until you're asked to reflect on it afterwards.
Yeah.
And I thought, God, how superficial of me that I'm actually looking at white shoes and going, I wouldn't wear white shoes. Like that's ridiculous. Like I don't see myself as that superficial, but I think it's just
You find
saying,
yourself in that position when
yeah,
you
your
focus,
brain goes
to
in a
stop that
million.
to focus on.
Yeah, your brain just goes in a million different directions that you're sort of not expecting. So that sort of gave me a little bit of a giggle, you know, like the fact that I was
Fantastic.
focused on her shoes.
What about you, Tess? Tell me about you.
Well, kind of just like what Niche said. I mean, I'm definitely someone who has to do two things at once constantly. So that's just how I am. I can never just watch a video and give my full attention to it. I always have to be like on my phone using this, like something, stroking my cat. Like I always have to be doing something else. But I think, yeah, like what Niche said is that like that's important as well, because just because a lot of people can, like when Niche and I work together, like Niche could just sit there and do stuff. I had to sit there plus other things.
Yeah.
If I was in an environment where they said, like, no, you can't do that, then I genuinely probably couldn't work there because I wouldn't be able to just sit there and do it.
Yeah.
So it was good to have like colleagues like Niche and managers who were like supported that and realized, okay, just because one person can sit there and do this, just because one person is more introverted, just because one person does this, doesn't make someone else who's like extroverted or needs to play a game on their phone, doesn't make them, any less of a valued employee. They just go about it a different way.
And realistically, it's not about productivity, because there's probably you're aligning with your productivity, but it's the neurodiversity that we all have. We all have it, and it's like the understanding that to be you, you need this, and it's like you do the job. I do the job. I work hard, but this is how I do it.
Yeah, if the work gets done, it doesn't matter what you're doing in the meantime, essentially.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Tess, I think. Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Excellent. Okay, so we have a trainer evaluation form which you can fill out for both of the sessions. And we don't have a formal evaluation on this one because we've done a lot of work along the way. So, okay, so I'm going to stop the recording now, and then we'll do the second one. Find it.